humans and future AI overlords. Well, it's 2024, and we've had over 1 year of this new modern artificial intelligence, and it continues to blow my mind in ways I never expected. But one of the things I really love is having conversations about AI with people. It's really curious to see what makes AI tick for some people and when it doesn't. There are people that just don't see the value in it, or are overwhelmed and don't understand the concepts, or just don't feel like it applies to them. So today I kind of want to go back to the beginning with a fresh perspective about artificial intelligence. And here we go. So why AI? Well, first off, AI is for everyone. This isn't just for the nerds and geeks like me, the technical developers, large corporations. This is for grandma. This is for your junior high school student. This is for, basically anybody that does anything. I mean, you have people around the world using AI to solve very complex problems, and they're doing it in ways that are just so surprising. Even the providers of these solutions are shocked at the adoption and the use cases that people are exploring. But that's the thing, is that you have to start, you have to begin. And that's something where, although there are a ton of people using it, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is being used, but we've seen reductions in the app downloads and things like that. Things are fragmenting a little bit, but there is so much going on with AI, and it's important for everyone to pay attention and learn, and because this is going to be so impactful. So so learning AI doesn't have to be intimidating. There's a ton of resources, and I'll put some links in the video and I'm going to talk about a few of them in a little bit. But there are some really great some great resources. Just doing a search with whatever your favorite search engine is on learning AI. But there's tons of free resources. You don't have to pay for learning resources to get started. In fact, I recommend you don't, because this, while I want you just to get started, but I don't want there to be a lot of barriers between you and getting started. So anyway, there's lots of great online tools, and that's a great place to start. Even talking about it with your family and colleagues and stuff like that. You may be using it at work, you may not be using it at work. You may have a cousin or a grandma or someone using it, who knows? So having a conversation about it, with your friends and family and your colleagues, I think is a really great place to kind of talk about it. Like, how are you using it? What's going on? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I like those conversations. It's really interesting to see just the wide array of human reaction to AI. But I feel like it's important to begin, because even a small step into this world can make a big difference. And what I found is that even a small step, light bulbs come on for people. Maybe not at first, but when that light bulb comes on for you, and it makes that connection to something important to you with how AI could make your life better, faster, more clear, you will be like, how did I avoid or not engage in this? I've had that similar experience in the past where I didn't engage on something. I'm like, hey, why did the light bulb not come on? But anyway, just be open, explore, but you use AI every day. If you've got a smartphone, you're using AI. It's just embedded into the device, into the software, into the operating systems, into the services. So it's in a lot of the things that we use. So if you've got a smartphone, it's in there. Android phones, Apple phones, it is in there in lots of different ways. Whether it's doing recommendations for your app store, making recommendations in your news feed for articles. I mean, I use a lot of these tools, and I sometimes don't even think about the level of curation that goes into the content. But it's like when you do a Google search, and you get 7 million responses in a second. I mean, you can't go through all that. There has to be some curation, there has to be some relevancy, some personalization, and that's where AI comes in and does a lot of that magic. So smart assistants, if you use Siri, which, you know, that's a whole discussion, but I'm really hoping Apple brings some intelligence into Siri. Google Assistant, I love, but when I played with the new Google Bard AI, I'm excited as Google Assistant is getting Bard integration, which is great. Alexa, Amazon is doing, great things. I mean, they've been using AI in their, in so many facets of their services, their cloud platform, all, so there's a lot of stuff out there. And then facial recognition. If you're using Windows Hello, on your PC to log in, where it recognizes your face, or you're using Face ID on your Apple phone, or a similar, face unlock on a Google Pixel, these AIs are the ones doing the work behind the scenes to help with that security and recognition and analysis. So you're using it every day. Social media, filtering out spam, helping you identify those trending topics and content, getting that personalization, that you want to have in your experience with social media, taking pictures and doing filters and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of, it's amazing how much AI is integrated into the technology that we use all the time. Online shopping, you're doing those, you're doing the Amazon search for a product, and you don't even think about all those product recommendations. And sometimes I am annoyed by them because I'm like, I am not a woman that wants to buy, a cardigan. Like, why do you keep recommending that to me? I don't know what I purchased in the past that did that, but so many recommendations are actually fantastic. So, that product recommendation, that Netflix recommendation, when you think about how much content are in these searchable online tools, getting it down to something where we can look at what is relevant to us and make a decision. I mean, that's really important. That's where this AI, comes in to really, help us, like in search engines, that vast amount of information that is out there. There's so much data, and having, AI algorithms crawl and index that data so we can search on it easily and find what we need. And then you think about like fraud protection. I mean, there are, all these great behind the scenes capabilities, with credit cards and online purchases and stuff like that. Fraud detection has been really good. So I appreciate AI doing all this incredible work behind the scenes. And then of course, entertainment. So like, Netflix streaming, that kind of content. You're streaming music, in Apple Music or or Google Music service. There's so many streaming services out there. There's so much content in those streaming services. There's a lot of those AI generated playlists. And there's AIs that keep track of what you're watching, so can, what you're watching and listening to, so they can recommend things. And I like that because those recommendations can be really good. Sometimes it's out of left field, but sometimes it's like, I am so glad you recommended that. Like, that was a really good recommendation. And hopefully these AIs are going to get smarter, better. I mean, that's the thing, is that AI today, it will always be smarter in the future. Well, I certainly hope it will always be smarter in the future. But anyway, gaming. I used to be a big console gamer, MMO, RPG gamer. I do most gaming now in VR. But a lot of these modern video games use AI for those non-playable characters, those NPCs and stuff like that. But imagine having like more in-depth, experiences in gaming where these NPCs are less static, they're more dynamic, they're more engaging, they feel more real. So that's exciting. And then just out in the world, like you're driving your car, those traffic lights are controlled by AI typically to help with traffic conditions. Medical diagnosis, you hear about like AIs being used to analyze, x-rays and being better at human beings identifying things within x-rays. So it's great to use this technology to really, improve, seeing those AIs partner with doctors to give them more information so that they can give you better options and treatment and things like that, more customized treatment based on your specific needs. And then customer service chatbots. I mean, these are everywhere. I mean, And it's so funny because, some people think they're talking to a person, and it's like, no, that is an AI that you're talking to. That didn't just pop up on the screen because a person jumped in there. That is an automated service. But it can feel very indistinguishable. Although I do have to say, a lot of them are very clearly a chatbot. So, so what is AI? I've done a few videos on this, but it's the simulation of human intelligence. It's mimicking the ways that we behave as humans in learning, problem solving, decision making, perception. It's part of computer science, and it's a vast field of computer science with lots and lots of very interesting and detailed content and everything from machine learning to deep learning, to computer vision, to natural language processing, all that stuff, all those fields and types of AI come together to give us these chatbots, these agents, these virtual assistants, that help us in, our daily lives, whether it's specific tasks or just navigating, to get to grandma's house with the least amount of traffic, during this crazy holiday season. So anyway, so another way to think about it is that AI is a learning machine, like a super powered learning machine, kind of like that Pac-Man game, like gobbling up information. They talk about these large learning models that have vast amount of information that they've been trained on. You think about, these AIs are just gobbling up this data, getting trained on it, building a neural network based on that data, and then it's like a digital brain. So imagine your brain, but a digital version. Just like us, we're constantly learning, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly getting smarter. That is what these AIs are doing too, is that they are evolving and getting smarter. I mean, even when you look at like the original ChatGPT 3.5 compared to the ChatGPT 4, dramatic improvement in capability and knowledge and its ability to pass, different kind of standardized tests. It's kind of amazing. But another way to think, and I think this is kind of a fun way, is think about AI as like that robot puppy. It's still a very new technology. It's still kind of fun and a little silly, and I really like that personality. I've been finding some of the AIs, being tuned in ways that they're trying to, make sure that they are accurate and respectful, and that's important. We don't want it to proliferate, discrimination or bad information. But think of it as a mischievous robot puppy. I think that that's a way to think about that. Puppy doesn't have like malicious intent. I mean, if it has it, it was trained on it, and it was, kind of tuned in that direction. But think about it that way, and think about, you want to you want to play with the puppy, you want to teach the puppy, you want the puppy to grow up and be big and strong and and a good dog and all that. But it's just a way to think about this evolving intelligence that right now we've gone from very weak or narrow AI to do very kind of specific tasks. Now we're moving into closer and closer to artificial general intelligence, where you basically have AIs that basically can mimic a lot of human behavior in kind of a general way, which is kind of exciting, So, but another way to think about it too, like people, you hear these Terminator stories about AI robots taking over the world. Well, that's not happening. They are doing alignments, ways to restrict AIs from doing things and behaving and poorly. And so and as we're adopting these AI tools, it's important that the information it gives us is accurate. Now, most of these chatbots, they talk about the risks. It's almost like it's an internet-based technology. When you look at the internet, you have to take it all in the context of this is internet information. Is this valid? Is this accurate? That it's important to cross-check and things like that with tools. But the big thing too is that a lot of these AIs are still under development. It's that whole kind of software as a service thing where software in the past used to be something that you get a version of it and it's that version's done until you get the next version of it. But these tools are constantly evolving and changing. And so when you look at what ChatGPT was like when it first came out, November 2022, and what it does today, dramatically different. Dramatically different options, dramatically different services, dramatically different ways to interact with it. It's exciting to think about how these technologies are evolving, but it's also important to realize there are risks, there are inaccuracies, and to be aware. And I've found those. I've had some experiences where I was doing some analysis of Apple AI and some of the technology, and the AIs was giving me information about different smartphones from Apple, and it was incorrect information. So it's important to to cross-check and validate. And I know that feels like extra work, but it's important to, I feel like, leverage multiple AIs, cross-check some of that information, and if you have an AI that links to a data source, even better. So why AI is important? So, well, it's everywhere. It's already woven into our daily lives, from the ads we see online to algorithms recommending, the next Netflix show we're going to watch for 6 hours straight, and understanding how it works, just the concept of it, will help you in using it in your daily life and put it into context. It gives you that knowledge, that superpower to kind of see what's happening behind that digital curtain so that you're making better choices. Because as AI gets woven more deeply into many other aspects of our lives, you may not even realize it. And that's the thing that's that makes me a little bit nervous, is that we need to make sure that when we're using an AI, it's clear we're using an AI. So that we know how to put that in context. And even, I think, knowing which AI, its data sources and training would be great to know. Just like when you're looking at a food label and you want to know, what are the ingredients here? And there's been some discussions about how they document AIs and how they, but it's still such a new field. But it's exciting, and it's important to, get familiar with some of the concepts. So it is shaping our future. This is the commodification of intelligence in a way that has never ever been done before. Yes, AI has been around, since like the 40s and 50s. It took lots of new technologies and new hardware, new software in order for it to kind of live up to the promise that it's had, and it's constantly going to get improved. But you're leveraging an intelligence that will only get smarter and deeper and smarter and more integrated. That understanding how that is going to shape every aspect of our life, healthcare, transportation, art, science. I mean, artificial intelligence will discover things that we as humans just aren't able to do on our own. Its ability to think more deeply, its ability to connect data points together, its ability to do analysis and trends, to see at a deep level, is going to change the way we live in so many different ways. It's also going to discover new sciences, things that we just don't even see, things that we may have put on understandings that are very surface level understandings. So I'm really excited about how AI is going to really assist us, and for you as a person, learning about AI isn't just about learning the technology. It's good to learn the technology, but it's also important in using the technology, because using AI is about interaction, conversation, interacting with it. Yes, these AIs have natural language processing. Yes, they all have different, sort of limitations, weaknesses, benefits, capabilities, and stuff like that. But it's important for you, leveraging the tool, to develop those critical thinking skills, those problem-solving skills, the data analysis, learning how to ask a question in a way. Because there are times when I put in a question as a prompt, and it's like, I don't know, I'm just a large language model. I don't know how to answer that question. Sometimes, and that gets so annoying, but sometimes it's on me that I haven't asked the question clearly with enough context or enough guidance to ask that. And that has been really exciting. Learning how to ask questions better but using those, going from a search where you put in a search and then you get millions of millions of options to have to then mine through, along with ads and all that kind of stuff. This lets you ask that question, put forth that prompt, and then have a conversation about it. Take it in a direction that maybe when you framed the question, you didn't really know at the beginning. So it's important to think about, you as an individual. AI is going to affect every aspect of your life, directly, indirectly. It's changing our world in so many different ways. So understanding the concepts, leveraging the tools and playing with them, and then just exploring whether you're using it at work or using it just at home. It's important to play with it because it will likely come to your job soon, and you will need to have some basic understanding of it, what not to do, what to do with it, how to use it, what its limits are, stuff like that. So it's still early, but it's important because it gives you new skills, new superpowers. Things I can do with AI that in my personal life that let me explore things in ways and get things done in ways that I never imagined I could do a couple years ago. This is like science fiction come to life. So this is a creative tool. Generative AI helps us be more creative. I am not a very creative person. In fact, creating this YouTube channel was a real struggle for me because it's like, I'm not a creator in my mind at all. I'm just a nerd who loves technology and I love playing with it. And I do love helping people with issues and problems and having those like geeky discussions and stuff like that. But for people that are creative, this is an amazing tool to help you in your creative journey. This is a Copilot to help you enhance what you're doing, to help build connections between things that maybe you're not seeing. So you are still the creator, the creative, the maker, the builder, the innovator in this, but you're doing it with technology in partnership. So being able to have these conversations with AI that can lead to incredible new learning, incredible new insight, to new ideas and solutions, to approaching problems in ways that you never thought to approach them. It is so exciting. And I don't care if you're, designing clothes or designing buildings, or designing applications. AI is powerful. And even just having, thoughtful discussions with AI about subjects and topics and stuff, even having, maybe these areas where you think about a topic very in depth, having a conversation with it could spark a different perspective. So having these AI tools and learning how to use them and playing with them and learning how to interact, can really improve your creativity. But it also is just so much fun. I mean, like as a nerd, I appreciate it from a technology standpoint. I mean, it's like we're going from science fiction, to, oh my gosh, I'm talking about things that literally was just, in Star Trek, episodes that I watched, when I was a kid. And it's so exciting to be having those real world discussions about these incredible magical capabilities, understanding how this stuff works, what it can do, what it can't do. And, it's just like anything when you begin to explore new technology and then you hit those barriers, like all these tools have limitations on what they can do. And it's important to kind of learn what those are. And you're not going to learn them if you don't play with it. So if you don't sort of push the boundaries and stuff like that. That's like when I started with AI, I had a set of AI questions that I kind of was asking all the different chatbots and stuff to try and learn what they can and can't do. What do they understand and understand? And they've gotten so much smarter in the past year that I've had to adapt my questions to deal with the new level of intelligence that they have. So it feels like today we all live in this incredible science fiction movie that's about artificial intelligence. Some of us are really engaged in that movie, and some of us are more just sitting on the sidelines, not really engaged. And I really hope you help, if you are engaged, not only do you do it for yourself, but you help your husband, your wife, your kids, your grandparents, your cousins, your uncles, your colleagues at work. Have those discussions because these are fun discussions to have. Yes, some people can go dark, some people go dark mode on this stuff. And while, it's important to understand the risks, I tend to lead toward more optimistic possibilities, still knowing that yes, there are risks to be aware of. So now learning AI can feel intimidating, and I totally get that. Learning is a change. Learning requires you to do something differently. Learning requires you to change up your brain cells and look at the world differently is really what I'm talking about. So you need to just do it. Thank you, Nike, for that simple but effective, just do it. Go out there and find an online course. There's free ones out there, and I'll put some links in the description so that you can get and learn some of the basics and then play with it. That's important. So learning some of these, tools and learning resources are actually pretty fun. And there are more paid resources that do have more engaging workshops and stuff like that as well. So if the free ones, kind of get you started and you want to do something more advanced, more interactive, because they've got these, geared towards kids, towards students, so they've got a lot of these different types of learning situations that are for different people in different contexts. But remember, even a small step into this world can make a big difference. And I really I've been telling everyone, learning about AI, I feel like over the past, year has been like being in permanent mind blown emoji. Like it's so exciting and mind blowing and thinking about what we can do today that we couldn't, thinking about how these things are going to evolve. It's very exciting. So AI is for everyone is the thing. So for me, there are 3 big chatbots, and these are the big 3. There are more out there, but the big 3 to me, you've got, Google Bard. So if you've got a Google account, if you're using Gmail, just go to bard.google.com. Boom, you're there using it. It's awesome. Microsoft Copilot. Now, Bing, their search engine, has Bing Chat. And they're going through kind of a rebranding to make everything a Microsoft Copilot, because they've got Copilots built into Windows, built into the Edge browser, built into Microsoft 365. So, but the Microsoft Copilot is big. It uses a lot of the OpenAI technology. And then there's OpenAI ChatGPT. This is the one that blew everybody's mind. This is the OG on November 30th that just hit the world and changed the world and has been, so incredibly exciting. So Google Bard announced February 6th of 2023. I started playing around with it in March 21st with early access, and then it became generally available May 10th. So it's been around, not quite a year, but it's coming up on it. I like the Google Bard tool. It's my primary AI that I use. I like its factual focus. I like its, its responses are very clear and consistent. Its integration with Google services is great. Not just hitting the Google It button in there to Google what you were doing your search so you can see the data behind it, but it integrates with a lot of the other Google services, which is super cool. I did a separate video on that. But its weakness is that it is less playful, it is less imaginative than, ChatGPT. And it's kind of like having that super smart friend that gives you the answers you want, but it's going to be a good answer, which is great. So I personally really love Google Bard. Microsoft Copilot, formerly Bing Chat, they're going through a transition. Launched February 7th, 2023. It's powered by OpenAI's GPT-4 and their DALL-E 3 text-to-image. They do have some of their own technology, at Microsoft, but it's integrated in a lot of different places. That is one of the things that I think is its biggest strength, is that Microsoft, as they do, embeds, browsers into their operating systems. That's been a very Microsoft thing, and they're doing the same thing here. Embedding Copilot into Bing, embedding it into their Edge browser, embedding it into the Microsoft 365 software, embedding it into the Windows 11 application. So that integration, it means that Copilot is there. Now, the weaknesses are that it's got a prompt limitation. It has an issue with hallucinations. And there was like a big New York Times story, before it, early on in its life cycle, where it really went off the rails, and it was really kind of, to be honest, frightening. But they've limit the number of prompts to 30. They did drop it down. They've been increasing it over time, but I feel like they rely heavily on OpenAI, and that's great, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking. We've had some issues with OpenAI and their governance and their leadership and stuff like that. But but Microsoft's deep integration in their ecosystem is a strength, but the reliance, I feel, on OpenAI is a potential weakness, in my opinion. And then just their inability to have the chatbot be just not go off the rails is kind of surprising. So particularly in that this technology is what Microsoft is integrating with a lot of their business customers. So the OG, OpenAI, ChatGPT, chatbot, launched November 30th, 2022. By December 4th, it had 1 million users. That is mind-blowing. In January 2023, it had over 100 million users. Oh my God, that blows my mind. The most quickly and most widespread adoption of any application ever. That's huge. Clearly this resonated. I didn't get my account till December 12th, 2022. And I felt like, oh my God, I'm so behind. What's going on? How did this not, and I played around with the text to image OpenAI DALL-E 3 earlier in 2022. But for some reason, as I've kind of said, I'm not really a creative person. It didn't really light up my brain like it should have. It's amazing, and I don't know where I got stuck, which is why I understand some people get stuck. It doesn't do the light bulbs in their head. It doesn't fire the neurons and get them excited. So I'm hoping that you will help other people see the value of it and check it out. So anyway, but I love its creativity and I love its engaging, text generation. That's one of the things that I really enjoyed, its personality. And I know that sounds kind of dorky because this is just technology that's been trained on lots of data, and it's using algorithms, to give me a response, but it can feel so human, so real. It's very cool. I know that freaks some people out, but I find it really amazing. Weaknesses, and this is a big weakness. They don't have access to like a search engine like Google does with, with Google search, and with Microsoft with Bing. So they do partner with Microsoft, and their GPT-4, you can have integration with Bing search, but they don't have their own. So when you're using the free version of GPT 3.5, its training data is likely not currently up to date, and that has been a historical problem. They've talked about it. They really need to figure that out, because when you have a really clever GPT that I really love experiencing and talking to be out of date with the real world, it is a problem. And then to get the full features, and the full features are amazing, requires a paid subscription. At least at this point, it's like $20 per month. It is something that I do use and I get value from, and I love OpenAI, so I pay it. And I do like using GPT-4, and I do max out those tokens so that it tells me you got to wait a couple hours before you do any more requests. But anyway, I do really like these chatbots. And my recommendation is change your Google search into a chatbot interaction. Ask the question in the chatbot. Go to Bard, go to Bing Chat, go to ChatGPT. Instead of doing a Google search, start that conversation in a chatbot. Use it to brainstorm ideas. I get stuck on things all the time, and using an AI to brainstorm when you're stuck is amazing. Using it to see insights and information that maybe you don't see can really spark all different kinds of ideas in lots of different contexts. and it lets you learn interactively through this conversation. Having a conversation about something just like you do with a human, and then you diverge into some other subtopic is exciting, or into some new area that you have no understanding of. Having that interactive learning and diving into different complexity regarding new conversation. Now, it's generative AI, so of course you can create poems, you can create scripts, you can create images, you can create videos, you can create music. I mean, a lot of these chatbots are right now doing text and image, but videos and music are done in some other tools, but is coming. These multimodal capabilities are available to some degree in some of these chatbots. I mean, I remember seeing some really strange clouds and taking a picture of them and then asking, ChatGPT, what kind of clouds are these and what does this mean for the weather? And it was amazing what it told me as far as identifying the cloud type, identifying the implications for the weather. It was on point. I was like, wow, this is cool. I learned something new. Now when I see those word clouds, I will know what that means. So next steps, explore the big three chatbots. Now, we don't buy, well, I don't think most people buy all their clothes at one store. They buy across multiple stores. These chatbots, for lack of a better word, have different personalities, different knowledge, different experiences, and I do anthropomorphize these chatbots because the interaction with them can feel so real. But go out to Bard, go out to Copilot, go out to ChatGPT, play with them, try them out, see which one you like. Try similar experiences with each of them and figure out which one works for you. They are very different, but my big thing is, instead of doing a Google search or a Bing search, start your question in a chatbot. Just start it there and explore what that experience is like. I hope that will excite you. So AI has been around now for over a year in this kind of modern era of AI. And what have we as a community kind of learned? We've learned that AI is powerful, but it's not perfect. There are lots of risks in there. It's important to remember that these systems can make mistakes. They can be trained with biased information, so they give you biased responses. So take all that with a grain of salt, but understand that limitation. AI is really, at this point, it's really here to help us augment our human capabilities. Help us just be better at all the things we want to do in our life, be more effective, but it doesn't replace your judgment, your creativity. It just augments it, hopefully as a new superpower that can make it, make all that great human capability even brighter, even more interesting, even more exciting to you. So AI is being developed, and and there's been lots of talk about developing it and deploying it responsibly. Responsible AI has been the thing that they've been talking about because of some of the hallucinations, because of some of the viral stories, during its early, kind of deployment, because there are some risks on, on AI systems that are trained with bad information. A lot of these systems are only as smart as the data that they have. So AI can help us understand the world around us. And to me, that's so exciting to see what it's going to do in all facets of our lives. How is it going to help, doctors and scientists? How is it going to help us, with climate change and some of these problems that are really complex? How is it going to help us make better decisions as businesses, as governments? Whether it's small government, big government. As individuals, how can it help us look at options and and deal with a lot of the change kind of coming at us? That's the thing I've really enjoyed, is letting AI help me deal with the constant change in the world. It is really powerful. So I have conversations about that with the AI chatbots to understand kind of where things are going, and make those connections in my brain about past change and future change. So anyway, because we've gone through similar technological shifts as humans, in our time on this planet. So we can use a lot of this great history that we have to not just be a ghost of our past, but help us understand the possibilities so we don't make the same mistakes of the past. So these complex problems, with, diseases and things like that, I mean, it's It's exciting to think about the possible new sciences that can be created, new materials developed that maybe are more better for the environment, less impactful to the planet or humans, and help us come up with new ways to use our resources better, which I'm very excited about that. So AI is going to continue to develop, and it's growing, it's changing, it's becoming more integrated, it's being leveraged in incredible new ways. That's why I feel like it's important for you to get out there and try it out, to talk about it with your friends and family and colleagues, to learn a little bit about it, play with it, see how it could make your life better. It could be something as simple as creating a shopping list that's more accurate, so you don't have to go back to the store again. Doing research, helping understand your child's homework so that you can help them, in that, in their learning path. There's just so many possibilities based on what you're doing with your life. It's important to just try it, but also be aware that AI is changing, and to use it responsibly. So Google's got a generative AI learning path, and you can Google that, but I'll put some links to it. Coursera's got an AI for Everyone course by Andrew Ng. And then there's, if you're a business person, there's a Transform Your Business with AI course by Microsoft. So there's so many free courses out there, so many. So just get out there, use an AI, preferably like Google Bard or Bing, because they've got internet connection, to look at learning resources that may be new. So use AI to learn AI. That to me is like what's really important, is that to be curious, to have conversations, to try new things, to explore the world, and just, learn so that you can be better at so many other aspects. I can't believe how these technologies are improving my life in so many ways that were intentional, but so many unintended ways that I had no idea. And you won't know till you try. And I'm not trying to be FOMO, but I just feel like it's such an incredible technology that we should all explore and try and use it in our lives and see how it can make a difference, how it can save you time, how you can get answers to questions better, how you can have discussions and remove barriers in thinking or knowledge or learning that can help you succeed and just do more and then enjoy your life more too. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. And if you listen to this whole thing, wow, thank you. I'm here to help. If you have a question, feel free to post it in the chat. But thank you very much. Have a great day and see you next time.